Howdy y'all, welcome back to the Country Bumpkin Oven. Sorry it's been so long since I've been online, but I've had several surgeries and I've been out of commission. But I'm back and I'm baking today. Today we're gonna make my famous banana nut bread, except for we're gonna do banana nut bread, we're gonna do banana bread, and we're gonna do banana chocolate chip bread. In my family, the more chocolate the better, but I do have a couple that are a little more picky and just prefer just the plain old ones and then the ones that have the nuts. So we're gonna do a little bit of all three. I've got my trusty mixer here that we're gonna start everything in, and we're gonna start with our dry ingredients. The first thing that we're gonna add is 1 1/4 cup of just plain old sugar. It don't want to go today. Then we're gonna add a teaspoon of plain iodized salt, not sea salt or anything like that, just plain old iodized salt. Okay, we've added the sugar, we've added the salt, and about 30 or 45 minutes ago I took a stick of butter out of the refrigerator so it would be easier to mix into the sugar mixture with our handy baker's mixer. So we're gonna put this into the sugar and kind of just mix that up a little bit so that it's kind of incorporated together. So once you finish mixing your sugar with your creamed or melted butter, you mix it all together and it kind of looks like a mashed potato something or other. But that's the way you want it to look. The next thing that we're gonna add is 2 whole eggs. And because I'm a country girl, we learned a long time ago that it's best to put your egg in another container before you put it in the mixing bowl. A long time ago, you would get blood in them and you couldn't use them, and if you put them in your container with what you already had, you had to throw it all away. So we crack our eggs and put them in another bowl and then dump them in once we see that they're okay. Okay, we got those mixed in. At this point, we're gonna add our bananas. Once we've got them creamed up, you want a banana that's really starting to turn black. That means that it's really soft on the inside and it's perfect for baking desserts. It's not exactly one I want to eat, but it's perfect for desserts. And a little tip is if you peel from the bottom end of the banana, it peels better than if you peel from the top of the banana. If you watch monkeys, that's how they peel them. So I've got 4 bananas already mixed up in this container, and I'm gonna mix 1 more just to give us enough banana flavor in the bread. And I'm gonna use the same creamer, and I'm just gonna mash them up so that they're big lumps and kind of creamy and kind of a combination of both. Okay, so there's our banana. Okay, so once we've got our bananas smashed and mashed up, we're gonna add them to our sugar and butter and egg mixture. Just dump them all in. And in case you haven't noticed yet, this is the mixer bowl for my electric mixer. I'm putting everything in one bowl so that when we mix this together, that's that much less we have to do in cleanup. So we've added the bananas, and now we're gonna add buttermilk. Now, we don't keep buttermilk in our house. Nobody drinks it, and I can't cook with it fast enough. But a little tip and trick is if you'll take your milk and just a little bit less than what you need to use for the recipe, add just a touch of vinegar on top. If you mix that together, that almost makes the same thing as buttermilk. So we're gonna mix that up real quick. And we're gonna add that to our bananas. Now I'm not mixing this as we go because there's no need to. We're gonna have to mix it in the mixer when we're finished. Now, we're gonna add, there's so many different kinds of vanilla out there. I use clear vanilla, I use imitation vanilla, I use pure vanilla. It really doesn't matter for this recipe which kind of vanilla you use. The cost is no point. This is a really cheap clear vanilla that I'm going to use, and I'm going to add a teaspoonful to our mixture. When I first wrote this recipe, I wrote it based on a recipe I had found somewhere else, and I just wanted to kind of give it a little oomph. Instead of leaving our recipe the way it is now, I'm going to add 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, the recipe doesn't call for that, and if they find out I put it in there, I'm sorry, don't be mad at me. But the cinnamon just really brings out that extra sweet, soft feeling that you don't get without it. So at this point, we're going to put our bowl on the mixer. We're going to put our whip on the mixer. We're going to use the whipping paddle. We're going to lift it up, and we're going to turn it on low for probably about a minute, minute and a half, just to give it a chance to get the bananas and the sugar and the eggs all mixed up well. So I'm going to put this on low for about a minute. Okay, so we're finished with the mixer. And we've got all of our ingredients mixed up just the way we want them. So we're going to take this out and take the mixing bowl off the stand because we're going to do everything else in this bowl. This is what it should look like. It looks like there's little pieces of butter in there that's just floating around, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we want it to do. Okay, so now we're going to add a teaspoon of baking soda, but we're not going to add it to this mixture. We're going to add it to the mixture of flour that we're going to put in the mixing bowl, and we're going to sift our flour so that it takes all the lumps out of it and it's a softer, lighter banana bread. Okay, so we're going to put our baking soda in with our flour, and we need to add one more 1/2 cup of flour to this. This is going to take 2.5 cups of flour. So you're going to mix 2.5 cups of flour with your baking soda, and you just want to sift that through. Okay. After that's done, you're going to take your plastic spatula and you're going to slowly mix all of these ingredients in with your banana mixture. This is going to give it its texture and its leaven. It's not going to rise that much. We don't have yeast in this recipe, but it will rise. So we're going to mix these ingredients up. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, my family is kind of split. So I have some that want pecans in there, some that want chocolate chips, and some that don't want any. So we're going to try to make that happen with these 3 muffin pans. Now the first thing you want to do is take a can of grease cooking spray and spray the bottom of the pans. The main thing is the bottom, not the sides, because if they stick to the bottom, they're not going to come out the sides. So just make sure that the bottoms are sprayed, and then we'll be good to go. I've got a little bit of pecans here, and I'm just going to pour them out on my cutting board, and I'm just going to run the knife through them. We want them small enough so that when you take a bite, it tastes like a pecan, but not so small that you can't taste it. That looks pretty good. You know, one of the best friends of a baker that's making muffins is an ice cream scoop. Just a plain old regular ice cream scoop. It makes the perfect size. You just fill it up and put it in each one of these openings in the tins. I'm going to do all of these. Okay, so we took our ice cream scoop and we put scoops of banana nut bread in each one of these containers. This made 18 banana nut bread muffins. So now we're going to take our pecans and we're going to sprinkle along the top of one of the batches. Now some of this will stay on top, and some of it will meld into the muffin itself. So the muffin will definitely have the pecan on top, but it's also going to have some in the middle. Not much, but a little bit. Just enough to give it a little taste. Okay, and then we've decided on our second batch, we're going to use chocolate chips. Now, there's several kinds of chocolate chips out there. There's dark chocolate, semi-sweet, full sweet, unsweetened, but I like to use semi-sweet. That way the amount of sugar that's in the banana nut bread offsets the semi in the semi-sweet. Okay, so we're going to put those over another one of the pans. Okay, last step on our chocolate chip muffins, we're going to add a little bit of something extra special. We're going to put a little white chocolate cube in the middle, so it'll give it a little chocolate all the way through to the bottom of the chocolate chip muffin. So we're just going to put one of those on top. And you know, we might do it for a couple of the others. They might want chocolate on theirs also, and they might not. But if they do, they'll have some as an option. Okay, we have our oven set at 350 degrees, and we're gonna put our muffins in for 60 minutes. And we're gonna come back and check them in about, 50 and see where the toothpick stands. We're gonna stick a toothpick in the middle. If it comes out dry, then they're done. If it doesn't, then you put them back in, leave them in there for a while. So we're gonna go ahead and put these in the oven, and we'll check back with you in an hour. Okay, so our muffins have been in the oven for 45 minutes. We're gonna take them out now and check each one and make sure that it's done in the middle. If it's not, then we'll have to put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes so it can finish off. Okay, so this is the pecan muffin, and these are the little white pieces of chocolate that we put in. We're gonna stick a toothpick in. Looks done to me. Okay, so we're gonna get out the one that has the chocolate chips on top. And it also has the little white pieces of chocolate melted on top of it. So we're gonna check and see if these are done. Looks done to me. So we're gonna leave these out. And then the last batch is the batch of just plain old regular banana nut muffins. However, we did add the chocolate to 3 of these You can see how they're kind of melted down into the muffin. And those look done too. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put them on a cooling rack for about 30 minutes. And then after that, we'll take them out, see how good they look, and maybe try one. So all of our muffins are cool, and we've taken out of their muffin tins, and we've put them on our cake plate. And we started with the pecan, and then up to the chocolate chip, and then ended with the original on top. So we've got plenty here, hopefully for the family. Maybe it'll last till morning, no guarantees. But in the meantime, I'm gonna have one now, and I'm gonna share one with Victoria. What kind do you want?
The chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip. You want chocolate chip?
Yeah.
Awesome. There you go. And I'm gonna try one of the just original ones. The trick with the buttermilk really worked. I gave it that soft texture. It's light on the inside. It's not real heavy. It's real chocolatey. What's yours?
It's good.
It's good? Anyway, banana nut muffins, same thing as a banana nut bread, except for you all get your individual piece. And you can have different types of things in it if you want to. You could put gummy worms in there, you could put anything you want. But these are perfect.
Yes.
Alright, thanks for joining the Country Bumpkin Oven, and we'll see you next time. Y'all have a good day.